Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to all of you in this webinar titled as Power BI Build Your First Dashboard. I'm your presenter today. My name is Naveen Ajmera. Before I go further, just wanted to check whether everyone is able to hear properly and you're able to see the screen properly. If few of you can respond onto the chat, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so I'm getting answer all good here. So I believe every one of you is okay with the sound and the screen. Fantastic. Before I introduce myself and onto the subject, I quickly want to run few polls to know more about my audience today. And this will help me to understand your need basically, and accordingly I can mold my demo today. So I'm just pushing this poll to you. I'll give you 10 to 20 seconds. The first question is, are you an Excel user? You can just put your comment onto that, yes or no, and submit button. Okay, so I believe you have done your polling. So let's see the result. Wow, that's what I was expecting. 95.7% of the users uses Excel and 4.3% no. My second question would be, what is your Power BI skills? Have you never heard about Power BI? Are you a beginner, or you're already doing something and you're at some intermediate level, or you are an advanced user? So submit your answer in another 10 seconds. I'll close the poll and we'll see what the result is. Great. So let me show you the poll result. And 70% of you are zero, means you didn't know about the Power BI, but you're still aware of what Power BI is, and that's why you came to the webinar. 25% of beginner, 5.6% are intermediate. So fantastic. All my material today is relating to you people who are Excel user and not knowing much about the Power BI. So certainly this webinar will be kind of an eye-opener as far as Power BI is concerned, and how you can transform your Excel to Power BI journey. That is this particular webinar is all about. So let me introduce myself. My name is Naveen Ajmera. I am a Power BI consultant and trainer based here in Dubai. I'm a leader of Dubai Power BI user group here in Dubai, which is a community user group for Power BI community, where I do a lot of event with Microsoft. We invite people who want to learn and share their knowledge about Power BI. And then I'm a registered faculty with Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, the Dubai branch, where I'm teaching a lot many finance and CA professional, Power BI. And I have spent, I'm a chartered accountant by profession, 25 years in chartered accountancy with diverse industry experience in various businesses and finance roles. And last 7 years was for me like a game changer or a career transformation of from Excel to Power BI. So I started learning and applying Power Put and Power Query, and now it is Power BI in my workplace, applying those learning, creating data modeling and advanced analytics. Now, I've been working with Power BI technology a lot longer than Power BI is actually a product. And you must be wondering how it can be. But it goes back to the origin of Power BI. So Power BI is essentially an integration of number of tools, which is being there in Excel. First introduction was Power Pivot in Excel 2010, and in 2013, Power Query was introduced. And the same tool is the foundation of Power BI. So that is why how my learning of Power BI goes back 7 years, whereas Power BI was introduced as a product in 2015 only. So this was a small introduction of mine, and I have my contact detail in this screen. So let me go to the next screen quickly, and what we are going to see here is I'm talking about as I mentioned, that Power BI is a combination of different tools, integration of different tools. So the first tool is Power Query, which is data transformation tool. And what do you see here? Clean and mash up your data with this tool. And you basically consolidate data from different sources. You bring in data from different sources to make your reports. And then you do the data modeling with a data modeling tool, which is in Excel known as Power Pivot, which is an advanced analytics tool where you write formulas and create measures. And data modeling is all about the relationship between various data sources. So you create all those into the data modeling. And the next, once you do that, and then you want to create your reports by creating, different kind of visualization. So visualization layer of Power BI is quite robust. There are a number of visualizations available into the Power BI desktop. And on top of that, there are many visualization available onto the marketplace. So I'll show you that in the demo. You can use those. Some of them are created by Microsoft, or some of them are third-party tools. And with that, there are quite a few, advanced technologies being used where you can get quick insight on your data. So without doing much, by clicking few buttons, you can get kind of insight. So that will be presented in demo today as well. And then there is a natural language with question and answer. So earlier it used to be in Power BI service, which is a licensed version, whereas now recently it is being introduced into Power BI desktop tool as well. And yeah, these are the visualization. As I mentioned, there are many visualization which is available onto the marketplace, which you can just import into your Power BI desktop and use it for the visualization. And once you create all these data modeling, you write your formula, you clean your data, and then you make a report, visualize it into the Power BI desktop. Now, after doing all this, what your objective would be if you're working in an organization, certainly you want to share those reports for further use by other users who can, look into your reports, get their insight that what exactly, and take accordingly the action onto your reports. So this is where you go for Power BI sharing, and the sharing is through your Power BI service account, which is a license account. You need to subscribe to that, and by that subscription, you can do sharing of your Power BI report. And the sharing, there are different ways to do sharing. You can create the mobile report as well, and that mobile app, if you have the licensed version, the Power BI service account, you can see your reports onto the mobile. And within the organization, yes, through email, if you share those reports, and the user with whom you are sharing the report, having a Power BI user service license, he can just log in and get the same report and use those reports. So this is how you complete your Power BI, life cycle. So creating report onto the Power BI desktop tool. Now, Power BI desktop is a free tool. You can download it now on your desktop. It just requires your work email ID. So you just give your email, and it is a free download tool. I again reiterate, it is a free download tool, and the whole demo exercise, what we are going to do, creating our report, bringing the data into the Power BI, is completely onto the free tool. And you require Power BI license, as I mentioned, when you need to share those reports with the users. So that's where you require the Power BI license. But all your learning can be done onto the Power BI desktop tool. So until you get acquainted and learn those tools, maybe you use this free tool just for the learning. And once you are confident, and then you go back to your management and the organization, where you convince them to share, get the Power BI service account to share those reports with others. So this is how the Power BI is. So what I'll do is I'll quickly jump to the demo, which is what you all are waiting for. And as I said, most of these demo, the report what we are going to create will be onto the Power BI desktop. In fact, the report creation is the data analysis and the data transformation is only onto the Power BI desktop. Report authoring, yes, onto the Power BI desktop, and on service also you can do the report authoring, creating those visualization as well. So before I start the demo, I just want to showcase few quick demo which I have created for the businesses. Though yes, these data are being dummied, but still I want to share that just to give you an idea that what you can do with Power BI. So if you are, in whatever role you are currently in your business or in your organization, usually, the sales dashboard is the basic requirement of any organization. So this is the sales dashboard created onto the Power BI, and using Power BI service account and the capability of Power BI published to web, I just publish it to the web, and this is how the link is appearing here. And this is completely interactive report, and you see the different dimension of the sales, which is the timeline there, and then you have the customer, you got the sales rep, you got the category and the geography, and these are the KPIs being created. So if I click on any of the dimensions, so let's say a customer, this particular customer I click onto, and I get all my other data interact with it, and it just gives me the cross filtering is available. So it just gives me data relating to this particular customer which I have selected here. So I just unselect here the same way I can do with the sales rep. I click on to any of that sales rep, and I want to see that how they are performing. So likewise, geography, I click on any one of the geography and I see how the data is changing. And if you are a finance or accounting professional, usually you create these kind of, MIS report, which is a typical P&L statement. But what is so special about the P&L statement here? This is looking a very ordinary kind of, so I'm comparing here 2 years, and then I'm looking at the variance. But what the best part of it is, when I click on to any one of the element of my P&L, I get on the right side the charts and the visuals, and I can create many more KPIs to show it onto the same dashboard. And on top of that, I have the drill down capability within Power BI. So I click on to the drill down, right click drill down, and it gives me all other element of within that. So you might have in your, if you're an accounting professional, you know what chart of account and what segment and all that. So you can go to the last level of your transaction within the same dashboard and see that what is happening, how it is trending. Likewise, so drill down capability. Now these all are advanced technique being used, but yes, one can learn and use these technique and create these kind of robust report. So within one page, you might get the whole reporting as far as financial statement are concerned and all that. So yes, this is a small demo from my side. Now to start with the actual demo, what we have today. So first, what we do, we open a new instance of Power BI Desktop. As I said, you can freely download this tool, which is available for free download. So I'm just clicking onto the Power BI Desktop because I've already downloaded it on my machine. And first time when you're opening this window of Power BI Desktop, you will see a pop-up, a startup window appears. And this is a very good kind of a tutorial or material available there. If you look at it carefully, there are many things, what is happening as far as Power BI monthly updates are concerned. There are a lot of blogs available and a lot of tutorials, small tutorial and learning material available, so you can use that. And you see when you have signed up, your name appears there as I'm already signed up to this. And I can close this. And this is what Power BI desktop. So first time when you're opening, this is the window you see, right? And I'll describe in briefly that what these all fields available there, or the ribbon, how it is available. So what we are going to do today is the exercise which we are going to use is we are using Excel file as our source data. And that Excel file contains a few data. The file name is data, and I have 4 sheets into it. And this belongs to a company called Von Arsdell, who manufactures expensive electronics products that could be used for fun as well as work. And it sells them directly to consumers in 3 major markets in US. And Von Arsdell and its competitor have retained a third-party marketing company to collect and anonymize industry sales so that all participants can benchmark themselves against the competitors. Now the sales data along with product data, and then you got the geography where these stores or where these transactions are originating from, and there is a date table. So this is a very simple data which we all use, from our ERP system or the software. We just put it on Excel and then we do our reporting. So this is the source data for us. And what the objective is, we'll create some sort of a sales analysis where we do some time intelligence, and we'll compare those one brand with other brands, that how they are doing. So as I open this Power BI desktop, let me describe quickly the menu ribbon, what you see on the top. So the first section you see is the external data. This is where you source data from, and it is under the home tab. So this is where you source your data from, and you have this get data button which we'll use to get the data. But before that, let me describe the other section as well. Insert is where you insert a new visual onto this white canvas, what you are seeing, which is the reporting. And you can insert text box, images, and shape. And there is a very new feature called button and ask a question. I will go into that as well. And then, as I mentioned, there are a lot many custom visuals available. So when you are doing your reporting, the visualization which is available, 30 visuals which is available in the tool, but there are more than 150 visuals available on the marketplace which you can use by importing into. And then you have this tab called relationship, which is of data modeling. So as I said, there are 3 tools. One is the data transformation tool called Power Query, where you bring the data here, and then you create the model by creating the relationship between those data. And then you write a lot of calculation if you want to do those new measures and new columns, like how do we do in Excel. And at the end of it, you create all those visuals into the report format, and then you, to share it, you have this publish button. So you publish to your service account or the license account, because I'm already logged in. So at the end of it, when we publish it, it will go to my cloud account, where from I can share with others as well. And on the left side, we see these 3 icons. I'll get into that. So let's quickly bring into the data. So let me describe first this get data. So when I check the get data button, I get all these sources which is available for as a data source. So you see Excel and then SQL Server, but when you look at the more, and you will find there are many more. There are different kind of databases, your SAP, SQL, or Azure, there's Facebook, Salesforce, there are many. So in our focus, because all of you are Excel users, so let's just focus on to Excel at this point of time. But the overall objective is you can bring the data from different sources, and with some sort of a relationship among those data sources, you can create those data model, and you can do a lot of analysis and visualization. So in our case, we just click onto the Excel, and I have that data file which I have just shown you, and I just open it. So first time when you are bringing into the data, you see this Navigator window. Now this Navigator window is basically showing you the data file name, what we brought into this. And then you have the 4 sheets which I have shown you, which is available onto the Power BI on Excel file. If I click onto them, you see on the right side, you can see a preview of all those sheets. So I go one by one and you can see the preview over there. So actually, after this exercise, what we are going to see as the end result, I have already created that, but we'll go through with that. This would be the end result of your reports would be. So one report which is showing year 2016 sales performance, and this would be the dashboard, which is completely interactive. And the other report which we'll be creating will be versus competitor, how one Astral is doing, and these are the visuals which we are going to create. So to create this first report, we are bringing this data. So all the data as we source from the Navigator window. And here on the bottom, you see there are 3 options. So one is load, other one is edit, and the third one is cancel. Now, if I click onto the load, it will take me directly to the data model. I'll not be able to do any kind of transformation on my data. And if I click onto the edit, it will take me to the Power Query editor window where I can do some transformation if I need to. And cancel without doing anything, it will just take me out of this. So I'm just clicking edit button, and this edit button introduces you to a new window which is called Power Query editor window, which opens here. And now in this query editor window, the first thing you see on to the right, on the left side, you see the 4 query automatically being created because my sheets were named properly, the date, geography, product, and the sales. So it created those name query here. Otherwise, usually we keep name sheet 1, sheet 2, so it appears likewise here. And you will see that the look and feel is more or less like Excel, and a lot of buttons available on the top for the transformation. And on the right side, you see, because I'm onto the sales query, you see the sales query appearing here on the query setting button, query setting window. And below that, this is the magic where it happens, and you Excel user, we as Excel user will certainly benefit mostly out of this. So what it did was it sourced the data, because we sourced the data from that Excel sheet. And so all those 4 files are showing here, 4 sheets are showing here as data table. And then we navigated with each of the sheet, and it gives us the sales table into that. And it automatically recognized that the first row is a header. So it promoted it as a header. And then it also recognized the data type, and it changed the data type. So you see here those small icon which shows that 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 means it is a number, whole number. And you see this calendar icon, which is the date icon. And likewise, if you go on to the other tables, you will see ABC. So that means it is a text type of the data. So it automatically recognizes. So, but sometimes you might see that you don't require the same transformation what it is doing. So you can manually change there. You can go and select whatever you want to. So this is what the Power Query editor window, and many transformation available, which you usually do in Excel in a very typical manner. And every time you do this, get recorded here. So next time when you are doing any transformation which is already been done here, recorded, you need not to do that. So this is what automation is all about. Now in this, we'll do a small transformation, which is just, we have this column name called month, which is just one date of that month. We don't need that column because we have already month name, and we are going to analyze our report by month name and all that. So I can just right click onto that and remove this column. And you see when I remove this column, there is a step being added here onto the applied step. And this is being recorded as it is. I didn't write any formula, I didn't write any code. It is just a simple transformation I did. And next time, whenever I'm importing new data, automatically this applied step will apply to that as well. So this is just showing a query editor, and there are a lot of many tab. Again, onto the corner, you will see close and apply button there. Now close and apply, again, there are 3 options. You simply close and apply. It will take you to the data modeling window where from we came, and apply only it require for pending changes, and close without applying it. It take you to it will close this window and take you. But our objective is to close and apply. So we click on to the close and apply, and we come to the again to the same window where we started from, and this is where we are going to do the rest of our data modeling work. So you see immediately those 4 tables are appearing here in the field pane. And on the left side now I want to show you the icon which we are going to use. So the first icon you see here is a report icon, which is this blank canvas, what we are looking at, where we are going to create our report. And the second one, what you have is a the table view. So all these table, what we see here, so we click on each of these and you see the data over here. And the third one is relationship. So while this table were loading from query editor window, you might have noticed that it was creating relationship between those data tables itself. It recognizes that what kind of relationship this might have, and we can see all these relationship over here. So it recognizes that in the sales table there is a column called product ID, which is a unique dimension table into the product ID. So it automatically created. This is something similar to what you do VLOOKUP. So when VLOOKUP, when you use in Excel, you do go to the fact table or your sales table, transaction table, you write a VLOOKUP formula and bring that product or any unique ID which you want to bring into your fact table. So this is similar concept, but lot many advanced things with these relationship, which is not the course of this particular subject of this particular session. I'll not go into that. But by using this relationship, we'll create the visuals. So we have reached to this level now. There you have all these. So the first visual what we are going to create is a simple column chart, which is this first chart, onto where we are comparing revenue month-wise and the unit on the line chart. So let me first quickly, and because we got 2 years data, so first we bring year as a slicer. So I select first the slicer from here, one of the visual which is available here. So I selected the slicer, I just click onto that and you see this on the white canvas here. And in that, I just want to put my years as slicer because I'll be using that. And there is an option which I can convert it into kind of a list. So now I have this as a slicer. And then I use column and line and stack column chart. So I select this and it appears here. I want to position it wherever I want to and I put it there. And in this, the first thing I want to do on the shared axis is the month name. So I go to month name, automatically it recognizes and put this onto the shared axis. And I want to put my revenue numbers onto the line value. Yes, it is on the column values. And then I have, okay, now you see a problem here. What happens is we didn't realize that it didn't create a relationship between the sales table and the date table. So all data coming as one number. So now we need to create a relationship. So those two relationships being created automatically, but it doesn't create the date relationship for many other reasons. So we create that relationship by clicking new, selecting the sales table first. In that you got the date column. And then under the date column, you select the date and you say, okay. So this relationship is being created. The moment you create the relationship and you see the data get affected here and you see all the month now appearing with different numbers. And onto the line chart, I want to see my units, which is quantity, or I will put this into the line value. So you see the line chart. Now still I haven't selected any slicer. So if I select the slicer for 2016, now 2016, I got 6 months data only, whereas 2015 is a full year data. So it is just giving now. Other thing, what you see here is the month name are not being sorted in the way we wanted. So we go, because it is just in the alphabetical manner. So we go into the data model tab and we go to the date table. And to sort that, we select the month name, and in the modeling tab, you select those sort by column by month number. So now this particular column is being sorted by the month number the moment we go into our visual, and now you see January, February, March, April, May. It appears correctly as we wanted to show it. So this is our first visual. And the second visual, what we are going to do is a tree map chart where we will look at the revenue by manufacturer. So we have in our product table, we got, so this tree map chart, first we select here from the visualization and we place it at the right place the way we want. We can resize all these visuals the way we want to show it and put it onto the, and the first thing we'll select is from the product table, the manufacturer. So I put the manufacturer onto the group and I want to see the revenue that how each manufacturer is doing. And you see how it is created this tree map chart. So all these tree map, the rectangle, what you see is based on the number of revenue number what we are getting. So one article is the biggest revenue earner, and then you have different other manufacturers. And on the tooltip, you see all the numbers appearing here, the same number you see here onto the, but here it is month-wise. And yeah, so this is our second visuals. And the third visual, before I create a third visual, I want to use another robust feature which is being created, which is being introduced into the Power BI desktop itself, which was there before into the Power BI service. So now you get everything for free, which is called native query, natural language. It's a capability to ask a question about your data. So I click onto that and I ask a question. So in this case, I'm asking, give me segment-wise revenue. So I'm asking segment-wise revenue, and I'm also asking it to give me a donut chart for it. So I just write those and I get that visual, which is giving me the revenue for each of the segment which I wanted to, and with the revenue numbers onto it, and the donut chart I specifically mentioned there. So this is our third visual, what you see here into the report and report what we'll have. And now the other visual we are going to create is revenue by state and the year, and where I'll show you the drill down capability of the chart. So this is third visual. So let me use this column chart, and here I'm saying state and year I'm selecting here. So year I already have 2016, which is selected onto the slicer as well. And I'll select this time from the geography table, the state, which will be on my axis, and my revenue number will be on my value. So this is the district state-wise. But what I want to show you in this chart, along with the state, you got the district there. So if I put this district onto the on the axis below state, and you see some buttons appear here for the drill down. So what it does basically, within this state, there were many districts which I want to further look into those data. So I can simply either click onto this drill down button, so it will expand me all those districts which is lying under that particular state, and you see this chart showing by state and district. So, you know, within the same chart, I can go back again into the same visual where I have the state. So you can do this drill down with whatever hierarchy you want to, like in your date table. You might have a year, quarter, month, week, day, all sort of hierarchy you can use and drill down. So rather than having different report or visual, you will have only one visual to show all those levels of your report. And the last thing on this dashboard, we'll see this visualization, which is map visualization. Now you see what Power BI does is it knows when you create your data, it knows that there are some geographical data onto it. So when I select state for one of my visualization, you will see automatically it gives me, I didn't select any of the map visuals, but by default, or knowing that there is a geographical data behind it, it simply gives you this map visual. And on that, we'll again use the revenue number as size of our map, a size of these bubbles, which is appearing here, and which is showing that these are the 3 states where the revenue is being made. And in that, we can further do either we can put segment as the legend, and you see now you have this chart available here itself. Now, the best part of it is all these visualization we quickly create in last 15-20 minutes without doing much of those things, importing data. And the best part of it is the interaction. So now if I want to analyze only the one article, that what is happening with this, my particular brand, and you see all other visuals get interacted with this filter down by this particular selection which I made, and all that highlighting area is giving me the information about this particular. So likewise, on any of the chart, you can click and you see that the data in other visuals get interacted. So this is our first report. And if you want to put a title onto it, we quickly use text box, and we say here 2016 sales performance, or whatever name you want to give to your report. You will just, and you will use all those formatting options. And I'll just increase the font size to that. Oops. So let's make it bigger, or yeah. Oh. So anyway, this is sometime you just need to, yeah. And I put this in the right position here. So this is my report title, and I can also bring in my, the logo of this particular brand which this company owns, and I simply put this as a logo here. And yeah, so this make your complete report. These title and all that you can change on even on the visuals and all that, but we don't go into that detail. So this is our first report what we created. Now for the second report, what I have here is we are comparing with one arsenal with competitors. Now to do that, a few things we will do is we will create some measures and the column to write some formulas onto the DAX expression, which is like you see here, sales year to date last year, and then the sales variance and all that. So these measures, which is written using the data analysis expression language, which is the powerful language as far as data analytics is concerned. And something similar to Excel, but quite robust, quite advanced. You can go to a very advanced level to do advanced kind of analytics. So to create the new measure, I go first to the new page to create this new report. And here, let me, before I do anything, I'll just copy paste from here the same type. I don't think it copy paste from the other desktop. So I'll create a text box, writing here again the same one arsenal versus competitor. This is my report title, and again I'll do the same thing, increase the font size and put it in the right place. So this is my title of the report. I can bring the same image again here and put the logo. So this is my report title and the logo here. So the first thing what we are going to do, we are going to write a new measure which would be sales year to date. Now there are a lot of functions available, so my measure name will be sales year to date. And you will find how simple it is to write these kind of formula if you know those DAX function well. So I use total year to date, and expression would be my sum of, in the sales table I have the revenue column, just summing it up. And then because it is a date, I'm trying to make it, so I need to use the date column as well to show it that up to which date it is looking for. So whatever year to date data is available, and that become a measure for me which calculate my sales year to date. So I'm just creating first these, and then we'll use these into the other visuals. So the second measure we are going to create would be sales year to date last year. Now the sales year to date last year, and what I'm going to do this time is using a calculate function into that. And we created just now sales year to date function measures, which we are going to use here. So it is reading that sales year to date. And with that, I'm using a filter option, which is a time intelligence function. Again, same period last year. So I'm just simply using that. And then again, the date I need to select. And when I say, okay, so now I have the second measures, which is sales year to date last year. And now we need to know the variance between these 2 years. So I'll create another measure called sales variance. And this would be difference between sales last year minus, or other way around, sales year to date minus sales last year. So this is my variance. And I can create another measure which would be a percentage of the variance. So I say variance percentage, and I use this time a divide function, and in that on the numerator I will have variance first, so sales variance, and I'll divide it by last year sales, last year to sales that. So this is few formula we created, and we all Excel user, we love to do all our pivot table and the pivot table summarization onto the pivot table. So now what we have created, we quickly create a matrix visual which is showing here. And how to do that, we have this matrix visual. So we just select that matrix visual, and what we are going to select, that you see it is in the same pivot. If you are creating Excel pivot tables, you see the rows, columns, and the values, it appears the same as in your Excel pivot table. So we quickly move the sales year to date first into our value, and sales year to date into second column. And onto the row, we just put the month name here onto the row, and onto the column, we don't want to do anything, but we want to put year onto the filter column. So let's use year as a column. Now 15, 16, we are just looking at the 16 performance. So I just go another, the capability I have, which is I can select those, because 16 is only January, February, March, June, up to June. So I just unselect and this filter my visuals by these months only. The similar way I do it for the year, where I go and change the basic filtering to 16 only. So now what do you see? And then I don't need these total column. I quickly go into my editor formation window, and here I quickly off my subtotals into column. So now I have this summary report, which is I can make the size bigger into it. So I go here, I increase the size of the text, and now I have this nice looking table, which is giving me sales year to date here, and then I can put the variance which we created here, that also I can bring it here, and the percentage as well. And I can format these measures, which I forgot to do it, and the format would be available here. This is percentage and 1%, 1 decimal. Likewise, I can do all those with decimals as well. So yeah, this is how you change it to all the measures. So this is my nice little small matrix report onto the comparison between the last year versus this year. And the second visual, what we are going now, we have year to date versus, so this line chart, which is more when you are comparing on a timeline, it is better to have the line chart. So let's create this line chart quickly. Now I already have the measures which I'll use into this line visuals. So I select quickly the year to date and year to date last year, and I put the month name onto the axis, and now I have my, again I have to use that filter because onto the month name. So Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, and I have this chart again, which is showing me the comparison between 2 years. So this is line chart. One more chart I'll create, revenue by year, just to show you another capability to get insight from the data from the chart itself. So here we select the column chart, and I'm selecting year onto the axis. I'm just selecting the revenue numbers onto my value column, and I get this. So nothing much I am getting out of this, but just to show you another capability of what Power BI, what you can do to get the insight without going into any chart or looking at anywhere else. Now, what is happening here? The one are still, this particular data is showing there is a big dip into the sales compared to 15. The sales here in the 16 is, now here also I need to put the filters as far as months are concerned, because otherwise it will not be a comparative figure. So I'm just putting again the same Jan, Feb, March. So it is comparing now the 6 months. So this is, now you see here, it is a down, which we see here, minus 11.6% compared to last year. Now we want to know that why this decrease, where from this decrease is coming. There are multi-dimension, there are geography, there are product, there are manufacturers. We want to know that what is happening, why this decrease is. So I right click onto that and I see an analyze button into it. Now, what this analyze is, when it explains the decrease. If it is an increase, it will explain the increase, and if it is a decrease, it explains the decrease. And when I click onto the explain the decrease, and you will see a new window appears, which is basically the analysis of this 11.5%, 8% decrease in revenue between 15 and 16. So it gives me all sort of insight, not only from one particular angle, it gives me from many other angles, which is lying, the dimension which are lying in my data model, which might be the product, manufacturer, reason, and also I need to do it again, explain the decrease. So now we see the first, it shows that revenue by product ID. So there might be multiple number of product, it just groups them and it says these are the product which is increase in the terms of revenue, and these are the product where there is a decrease. I go further down and it gives me the district wise, it reads year and product again, then year and segment. So all sort of those dimension, it is giving me that where I'm going wrong and what sort of analysis I need to require to do on to that. So our objective is to look into the manufacturer. So here we have the manufacturer, year and the manufacturer. You go further down and you have many more insight onto your data. So the small data set, but still you get a lot many information about your, and then here I can change this, but in this case, increase, decrease, I would rather use this waterfall chart. And if I want to add this to my visuals report, I just click into add to page button and it appears onto my report here. And what it is showing now, let's look at this. So 2015, the revenue was 25.1 million for first 6 months, and 2016, it has gone down to 22.2 million. So there was a fall of 2.9 million in percentage term. Where from these falls, revenue fall is coming. So biggest fall was in One Arsenal, which is the brand of this company, its own brand, whereas the other brands is still doing well. Two of the brands are still showing a revenue increase, and two other brands having a slight decrease into that. And when I click onto these, so this is now One Arsenal. If I want to see how month-wise it is doing, so you see here a 24% decrease in this particular brand, and likewise the line chart how it is showing. And where the increase is, I go there and I see there is a 26.8% increase in this particular brand called Pyram, and the same goes with your other brand called Natura. So this is another visual which we created on, and likewise using the same technique what we use, we go back again to the same analyze, and this time we bring into the segment here. So I go down here, but I need to create a different visual. And this visual is called ribbon. This is available here into the visualization, which is ribbon chart. And this ribbon chart, I like it very much. The reason being, without doing much, it just shows me that, if I'm comparing two different periods, I can just put it in the focus mode and you see onto the complete screen. 2015, how this particular segment was doing, and you see the way this ribbon is moving, it's showing you the kind of a change in that particular data. So I need not to put my mind behind it, but the visual itself explains that there is a big dip in this particular moderation brand, and which is my top ranking revenue earner. Whereas the second revenue earner is showing a growth here, which is correct because the size here is less than this one. And you see a diverging trend here, the rank 4, which was for the select segment, now it is going at the number 5. So, whatever changes is taking place. So this is a way of looking at from the different. This is one of the nice chart, I quite use it. So this is all about our data visualization, and I've already talked about this slicing and dicing onto this. Yes. So, on a fly, we prepared this visuals, and we found out that where this particular company is going wrong as far as the revenue decrease is concerned by creating those measures. Yes, this is something which one need to learn. The language is called data analysis expression language. But at the end of it, after creating all these reports, wouldn't you like it to share with your management or with your colleagues to show them, just to show off, not to show off, but still you want to, in your business analyst role or whatever role you are having, you want to show that these reports and what insight you are getting out of this. So now to share that, what I initially described you, that you go to the home tab, you need to have your Power BI service account, which is the licensed version, and you use this publish button to publish it to your service account. So I'm going to publish it to, because I'm already logged in into my ID. So I'm just publishing by clicking onto the publish button. It will ask me to save this. So it will be saved wherever I want to save this as any name dashboard. And I save this first. And then I say publish. And it is just publishing. Now I have my public Power BI service account where I have different workspaces. Workspaces is just like a folder. How do we keep file in our desktop? So there I have different folders. So this time I have many models created there for work I do. So I'm using this Power BI circulation, the space I created there, and I'm just selecting. And it is now publishing to that particular workspace in my Power BI account. And it takes few seconds to publish it depending on the size of the model. And once it is being done, you will see it gives you a link where you can click on and you can go to log into your account. And so now this is showing you a success. And you have that get quick insight option here, which will use into the Power BI service as well. I'll not click it here, but what I will be clicking here is open dashboard PBIX file in Power BI. So when you save the file, which I saved just now, the extension is PBIX, like your XLSX or PPTX. So this is the extension. So now I go to open this my service account, the license account. And when you open it onto the cloud, you see this window. Let me make you familiar with this window. The same report what we created, page 1 and page 2. We forgot to name those page 1 and page 2. We can rename it the same title name over here. And the same reports are coming here. And what do you see now? Because I use my PBI circulation space. And when I see this space here, now you see 3 things here, or rather 4 things. One is the data set. So when I click onto the data set, you will see the same data set. Now you can write those reports, you can create those reports again the same way. So let's say I shared with someone or you shared with someone and they didn't like all these reports or the visuals and he wanted to create his own report. So he can use this canvas and he can create those reports himself, the other user. And again, yes, there are many restrictions you can put onto if you don't want them to see the data sets or you don't want them to author any report. So some of your user would be just using the report, the other one would be writing the report. So this is where they can write the report. And then you have the reports tab, which is what we created earlier. And now we want to create the dashboard. Dashboard is more like for sharing, it is more convenient, though report also you can share it with other users, but let me show you that how to create the dashboard. So you have this visual, let's say this particular visual revenue by, in our first report, we have this particular chart, revenue by segment. So when you click onto that visual, you see this pin button. So when I say pin visual, I click onto that, and it created a dashboard and it asked me, you want to create a dashboard? So I say yes, first dashboard. And I just pin it and it will take me to the dashboard window of mine, go to the dashboard, and here I have the dashboard. Now this is, you see there earlier there was no dashboard, now I have the dashboard. And on these ellipses, you click onto that and you have many options. So where from this dashboard is coming. So you go to the report and again you are back to your report. So let's play with this visual as well. Now that Q&A natural language, what we have seen into our Power BI desktop, this was available for a long time into the Power BI service. So here I write year to date sales, just one number I want. So I say year to date sales, or I don't want any chart. I just want to say this card I want to use. So this is the visual I want to use. And I say pin this visual to my existing dashboard. And like that I'm creating. So this is a kind of a card which is just giving me one number. Now dashboard, I can, formulate the way I want, design the way I want. And all behind this is you have the reports or the data set behind it. And now for sharing, this is web view. I can change it to the phone view, and the phone view would be like that. And I can play with it, and I can unpin this, and I can create more visuals and put it onto the phone view and create for my mobile report. So when I'm sharing it with the users, if they are opening it into the Power BI app onto the mobile, they will have this nice, good-looking view. For good user interface and good experience on their mobile, you create these dashboard. And how to share these dashboard? Now I have the shared dashboard, and here I have. Sorry, I need to go back here, and here you have the share button. Now when I click onto the share button, it asks me to grant access to. In my case, I'm the only user, so I write my own ID. And I say share to this user, and I can have restriction, allow recipient to share this board or share this dashboard or not. If I uncheck it, he cannot share this. And when I say share it, a link goes to my email account. And if I am a licensed version holder, I will just open that link. So it is already gone. Let's see on my email. So this appears here, your first dashboard in Power BI. And I click onto that because I'm a licensed version holder. I am already logged in. So this particular dashboard appear here. So I'm doing if it is on my mobile, it will appear on the mobile as a mobile report, what we have as a mobile view. So this is how you do the sharing. So see, in last 40-45 minutes, we have just created from that data, transformed the data. We created, some formulas for the analytics, and we shared our report onto the cloud account, and we shared it with the other users. So this is all about Power BI. And other sharing is I use Cortana integration as well. Let me show you one of the code which I have integrated with Cortana sales report. And you see here Cortana sales report. This is again the same view. So I need not to open again and again my account and all that. I can simply create this kind of Cortana integration. And this is a different report. Again, interaction is there. And the same way what you do in mobile, you can see it here. And behind that, you have the link. So you want to go in detailed report, you just click on to open in Power BI and go to the report. So this is all about this Power BI. It was an overview, and rather I would say it was a complete journey how you want to start with Power BI. And as I said, the tool is free to download, so you can do that today itself and start learning. A lot of material available, and yes, you can do all that. So let me quickly jump over to my presentation. So this was my demo, and we'll quickly go through a Q&A. Let me see if I have any question and answer. Oh, there are not many questions, so let me see. All seems good. Okay. Yes, you will see the replay of this, and a replay and recording will be available. Certainly by tomorrow, you should get the email of a link of this particular webinar. Any question if you have, I would welcome any question to answer that before I close this webinar. And does Power BI come with Office 365 has the same features? Well, Power BI in Office 365, you have again Office 365 different licensing structure. which start from simple business license, and then you got E3, 5 different versions. So I think some of the advanced version you get Power BI as well, but like I have a E3 subscription with which I don't have the Power BI, so I bought another Power BI subscription. Again, it is a $10 per user per month license cost, so I subscribe to that, and that's how I use it. But with Office 365, yes, sharing and all that is quite easy because your other organization account, you might be sharing those reports. So yes. Will there be further sessions such as this one? Yes, I would certainly love to do those. But again, this was a very preliminary kind of. I would love to do more advanced version of these. And there are many other capabilities available, making it as a data story tool. And Power BI is coming up with, Microsoft is coming up with every month update, and every a month I just look forward to those updates. And the things which I used to do hard way before, now I'm getting those available in a very easy manner, so making my life easier. The next question is, can I publish report to SharePoint 2016? Of course you can. Within SharePoint 2016, you can publish it to web, you can share it through Office 365, yes. How can we create users and provide privileges to users on the specific dashboard? Well, there are different tricks available onto that. So you create users, you give them the license, and while sharing it with them, about privileges, you can restrict their use. There are a lot of security method available, like row level security. So let's say a sales team comprises of 10 different salesperson. You don't want them to see each other's sales. So you create those row level security in your Power BI dashboard modeling when you are doing the modeling, and use those advanced capabilities which is available. So certainly, yes, you can do that as well. Is there any other functionality for Power BI other than making dashboard? You are doing the data transformation. So you are bringing the data from different sources. You are transforming it. You're writing typical analytics formulas and all that. So whatever kind of analytics, advanced analytics you want to do. And then at the end of it, you are creating those visuals to make the dashboard or make the reports. So dashboard and reports are the final output, but before that, a lot many hard work is behind that. Thank you very much. Your webinar was so elaborative and very much clear. Thank you. Can you share any material? In the beginning, I showed you that when you open your Power BI desktop, you get that startup window, lot many material available, lot many links are available there. Is Power BI totally free? Desktop version, of course, totally free. I reiterate again, you should download it today itself. Start using it. The model and the visuals which I created was purely onto the Power BI desktop. I use my service account for sharing those dashboards. Kindly share the webinar link and PPT. It will come to you automatically tomorrow because you have registered for the webinar. Can we apply row level security? No. Onto the direct query mode? No, you cannot do onto the direct query mode and other modes. It is only on when you import the data. May you please repeat your formula language name? Okay, this is called DAX, Data Analysis Expression Language. It is very similar to Excel, but it requires a lot of hard learning. By the way, with this you can use your simple Excel formula, like some of them I did. Some of them I did by subtracting from last year's sale to this year's sale to get the variances and all that. Can I get the data you use for practice? I will see if I can share those data. Is it possible to copy or move to a specific page into other Power BI report? I'm not sure what your question is. Is it possible to copy or move the specific? Yes, you can. You can duplicate that page. You can copy paste those visuals or the report. just using Control C, Control V, the same what we do into our other Office applications. The other question, I think these are the questions. Let me see if I have more questions. Yeah, any other question? I'll be closing in next 2 to 3 minutes. If you have any question, yes, certainly you can. And let me give you my contact detail again. So you have on your screen my detail of that. If you want to contact, there is a website, my personal web page. There's a user group, the Power BI user group, which whatever geography you are located in at this point of time, you just go to that website, find out that which are the user group in your area is working. Just find out and just sign up for the Power BI user group. And in Dubai, I do events for Power BI user group, invite those members. I share my knowledge. There are other speakers, expert speaker who come to share the knowledge. Lot many Microsoft experts. They give me support onto that. And yes, this is my email ID, my Twitter handle, and LinkedIn profile. All is there. So thank you very much for attending this seminar, this webinar. And I hope you got benefit what you wanted to see onto the Power BI. And in future, I'll try to do it more because the webinar reach is much more than in-person event. So certainly, and any suggestion, any ideas you want to share or any feedback if you want to give, send me on my email ID. It's most welcome. Any of your feedback would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Let me close and end this webcast with a big thank you to all of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.